It shows we're live now.
Yeah, it's loading right now. Give me one more second, then we'll get started. All right, we are live and ready to go, so you can start your meeting.
Okay, we'll get started. Calling the meeting to order. I guess first up is with Rick. Is Rick on here?
Here, I'm here.
Okay. I guess if you want to explain that a little bit, I seen your email this morning, so.
Right. The as you know, we were awarded $1 million in community crossing grant funds. There are 2 contracts involved with that. NDOT sent those to us last week. They need to be signed by you, Charlie. However, the rules now state that the commissioners have to vote in a board meeting to allow one person to sign the documents. So they did that because some other communities weren't doing that in the past. So they need you guys to vote to say it's okay for you to sign the contract.
Is that fine with you, Brian?
That's fine. I'd make a motion that we do that.
I'll second. All those in favor? Aye. I guess next on the agenda was the approval of polling places from the clerk.
I believe
Yeah.
Bernadette's having a hard time. I think Bernadette's having a hard time logging in.
Okay.
I did send the documents out this morning. I didn't know if you guys had a chance to review those.
I didn't on that.
Yeah, I got them in front of me.
Okay.
Of course, the polling place is going to be California Township Fire Department for California 1, 2, and North Bend, Washington. Washington Township Community Building for Washington 1 and Washington 2. Coons Lake Property Owner Association Building for Oregon 2 and Oregon 3. Hamlet would be James R. Hardesty Community Center for Davis, Oregon 1, Center 6. Knox would be Nancy Dembowski Community Center, Center 1, Center 2, 3, 4, 5, and Jackson. North Judson would be North Judson Wayne Township Fire Station, Wayne 1, 2, 3, and 4. And Railroad would be Sam Pier Fire Department, just for Railroad. And absentee voting will be at the courthouse on Tuesday, May 26th to Friday, May 29th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, May 30th, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Monday, June 1st from 8 a.m. to noon. That looks fine.
What's that, Brian?
It looks fine to me. I don't know.
Is that what the election board come up with then, probably? I'm sure.
I'm sure it is.
Okay. Well, why don't we go just make a motion on that? That seems fine to me.
Okay, I'll make a motion that when we get our polling places.
Oh, oh,
Hello,
hello,
this is Kathy.
Kathy.
Am I in the right meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're just making the motion on the approval of the polling places, so.
Bernadette just logged on. If you want to get any comments from her. Bernadette, can you have any comments on the polling places?
Did you guys receive the email today from me?
Yes, I did.
With all the polling places?
I saw it.
I just wanted to understand that this isn't gonna be like votes. This is precinct based. But according to the Secretary of State, she wanted us to cut places, polling places anyway. So we went down to the 7 and the ones, the precincts that are listed with the polling place, it's going to be precinct-based style voting. So only those precincts can vote at that location, but that will only happen on June 2nd.
Bernadette, do you have like an email or some other document from the Secretary of State's office regarding that?
Saying that she wanted us to combine polling places?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Could you provide that? I don't need to have it right now, but could you provide that so it'll be part of the record with the commissioners meeting?
Sure.
Thanks.
I can, do you want me to just send it to you, Marty, or to everybody?
That's, well, everybody's probably best. You can send it to
Okay.
me and just include the commissioners and also Rachel, and then it'll be in the record. I just wanted to have a record about why this was done.
That's fine.
Brian had made the motion. Is there a second on that?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
When he made the motion.
Right. Then we gotta do the vendor claims and minutes and that. I'm on the wrong one here. Is there a motion to approve the vendor claims in the amount of $211,819.16?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Rachel, on this payroll claims, was that the deduction, was that already off that other amount, or is that
No,
have
you
to come off there?
you have to include it with it, please.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the payroll claims in the amount of $254,034.86 and deductions in the amount of $75,842.23?
What are the deductions for?
The deductions are like your, what have come out of employees' paychecks. So, you know, I don't know why the State Board of Accounts says we have to approve the deductions as well.
Okay,
So like payment,
that's a new thing then, huh?
yeah, payment
A
for
new, that's, okay.
health insurance, payment for dental insurance, payment for Boston Mutual life insurance, all the little tiny deductions that we do.
All right, okay. Well, I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from March 16th, 2020?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
And then all those in favor? Aye.
I'm ready too. What's that one? Aye.
Then I guess we need to have a response to Governor Holcomb's stay-at-home order.
Well, I guess our obligation, of course, is to follow his lead and to extend our orders with no changes until May 1st.
Good one.
So is that a motion then?
Yep, I can make that a motion.
Second, Brian? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Then the broadband plan.
Oh, I hate to say this, but I forgot to read it. I've got it. I've got it here. I forgot to read it. I don't know if you guys read it or not.
I didn't get to it yet.
No, you're building.
You want me to put it on your next agenda?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Sorry.
Then the approval of partial park closure. I guess we just had to make a motion on that.
Yes.
And if I could interject something on that, I would suggest that while you make that motion, that you extend it to go to the deadline of the governor's current order, which is May 1st.
we would be, we're talking about the Bass Lake Beach and Campground, right?
Yep. Mhm.
Well, it also,
And that
it
would
also
be-
covers the county forest, although it leaves the county forest open to, passive use like hiking, as long as it's groups, small groups, and everybody, observes social distancing. I checked with Bruce Wakeland, who, as you know, is the caretaker of the property, and he said he's been watching people and they have been complying, so that that's what we did.
So should that motion be specific to those two entities? That meaning that the campground and the beach are closed, just simply closed to anything, with the exception of people who that is their only residence, which of course that'll bring in another problem down the road, but for campers. And then the forest has people with small groups less than 10, right? Isn't it less than 10, Marty?
Oh, I'm sorry. It might be 5, actually. It's in the language of the motion, which I don't have right in front of me. I will say that we received a couple of mails, a couple of letters from people that are at the campground who are sheltering in place there because, like in the case of one of them, they lived with a nurse who was working, in the hospitals, and and they were elderly, and in order to not be living with the nurse, who obviously is exposed, they were staying at the campground. And, to me, that was a legitimate reason to be there.
So that was one letter?
Yeah, there's a couple letters. I can provide those. They're
Yeah,
similar.
I'd like to see them.
Yeah, okay, I
I'd
will
like to
share
see 'em.
those.
Okay. This was supposed to be first day of league. I mooted it, so I shouldn't.
Judge Hall, were you trying to say something? I just see you're lighting up there.
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just a spectator today. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
So is there a motion on that park closure?
I'll make that motion for the partial park closures to extend until Governor Holcomb decides it's okay to release it.
So that's for, again, that is for the Bass Lake Beach, with the exception of these few letters that Marty's received. At the Bass Lake Campground, and groups of 5 or less at the Stark County Forest. Is that correct, Brian?
Yeah, that would be.
What?
Yes, that would be correct.
Okay. Yeah, I'll second that motion, but I do want to see those letters.
And
I'll
then
forward those to each of the commissioners today.
thanks, Marty.
Thanks.
Everyone in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Does anyone have anything else for this meeting?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Have you guys given any thought to the stimulus payment?
The one that 43,000,
41, yeah, 40, it's 41.
41.
Mhm.
Well, no, but certainly you accepted it, haven't you?
Yes.
If it's for stimulus, I think that I'd be interested in trying to figure out a way to disseminate that to, I don't know if the county has any particular needs right now for that, other than maybe protective equipment for the health department and the EMS department, the sheriff's department. But I'm wondering if there's a way that we can disseminate that to the really small businesses, and I'm in particular thinking about the local restaurants. I think they're suffering tremendously, and I think some of them will end up going out of business. But I think that's what the intention is that we use that to help folks in our community, not just keep it for ourselves, although it's very tempting just to keep it for ourselves and put it in a rainy day fund. That's another option, I guess.
Could I interject something on that? Just what's going on? We have a couple of things that are unfortunately, we're at the last meeting, the commissioner was very clear they wanted to see quick action on the food delivery service, and we've done everything we could. In fact, there's grants pending both with Okra and with Lilly Foundation, and I feel we're going to get probably something from both of them. I mean, that we don't know that yet. It seems likely though, but unfortunately, we haven't actually gotten confirmation on either one yet. And it's kind of, frankly, a little disappointing because the need for that is not, 2 weeks from now. The need from that is a week ago, actually, and I don't know. I'd like to be able to update the commissioners with that, and I expect something soon, maybe today or tomorrow even on that. But I just want you to be aware that that is in process, and I think we can move on that real quick when we get some funding, because there's already food, there's already the food banks and the schools doing some deliveries, so there's already activity out there that this funding can go in to help bolster their program and reach more people. That's kind of the initial goal, I think.
Yes. Now, when you guys did the poll, Marty, for the Stellar, was that the single most thing that people on the poll wanted to see?
Well, the poll supported really roughly, generally, it supported what the commissioners had said, which is that in the first place, that this shouldn't, that this current need shouldn't interfere with the longer term goal of doing the improvements that were to be supported by the 333,000 for the runner up. However, the funding that they had for immediate reaction, that was the number one, because we, fortunately, we haven't had a lot of cases here in Stark County yet. We've had some, but not a lot compared to other places. So the biggest impact right now has been due to, the closure of the closure of things and the stay-at-home order. That's what we got. But I will say we didn't have a real wide-ranging situation because it was a poll, and so you kind of have multiple choice, and we didn't have like 50 choices. So.
Okay.
That's our best knowledge.
Well, I would be in favor of trying to use that money to initiate something like that. But my recollection is it wasn't just food. It was medical supplies for the needy and elderly and the people that were afflicted with the disease that were quarantined.
Well, and one of the things I wanted to mention about that,
and how is that going to be? I'd like to know how is that going to be administered too, Marty?
Well,
I mean, is there a group that decides, or how is that going to be administered?
Well, once again, this is all speculative right now, but the idea was just to get a person that was going to administer it. That's one of the key things that we need. And one thing I skipped over, because you had mentioned the impact on local restaurants, which is probably one of the more severe things. And one of the things we wanted to do with this was to deliver hot meals from restaurants so that would help support the restaurants at the same time. It would.
Right.
Because that is one of the most critically affected sectors probably right now.
Right.
One thing.
So I don't know if, we do need an administrator though, absolutely, because we have existing food banks that are out there, but they're not really in the business of delivering hot meals or necessarily reaching all these people either.
Well, what about this? We have people that we have staying at home. Is there somebody that we could use that we already have on our staff in the short term, or are you suggesting that we got to hire somebody?
It probably depends on how much funding we actually get. But I guess the key thing is that we want to get something started right away and then improve it as we have a little more time. The initial step would probably be just to help get the food banks and the current delivery services that are being done by the school businesses, the school corporations, maybe some additional support.
One thing I do want to mention about the stimulus payment that we received is that not many counties actually received this payment. It's only for counties who support their EMS. So for counties who have EMS, emergency management. Kathy?
Yes, are you there? Hello?
Someone's got something dinging.
Oh, I'm driving down the road with my husband, and that's his, he doesn't have a seatbelt on. Imagine that. I shouldn't announce that to the world. The cops will be stopping us to get us tickets, but,
Now,
sorry.
the stimulus payment that we received, so we received it because we have an EMS department, but we can use it. We don't even have to use it. You could put it in rainy day, or you can use it toward anything.
Well, I kind of like that idea that the Stellar Group had come up with, and the commissioners supported that by directing that Marty to file a letter of intent with Okra to obtain funds for that. So for that purpose specifically. So I don't particularly have a problem with using this $43,000 to get it initiated, because there are people waiting right now. But I mean, or we could look to other things too. I mean, we don't have to use it for this, but I'm a little unclear as to the plan for the delivery method of the food and that and I'm not so sure that I want to use $43,000 to hire a new individual, because I don't think $43,000 will last very long, especially if we're hiring someone when we've got employees staying home that might be interested in doing something like that in the short term.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. What do you guys think, Brian and Charlie?
I agree with you. I don't see why we should hire somebody else. We got very good people that work for us already.
Yeah, if we can utilize somebody that we got, it's the best bet there. So
We had talked about possibly Mary Parent, because she was, I mean, not to volunteer her for this or anything, but because she'd already been doing the Stellar, which the Stellar kind of didn't develop the way we were hoping because of the COVID, and we thought possibly she might be a person. But I will say this: the idea of funding that directly was really more based if we did get like 300,000 or something in that range. Our total application for funds, if you took this and added to it, would be 400,000 or something in that range. So there would be more.
Well, that's
to
that's
hire
a different
somebody.
ballgame than
Right.
That's
Totally.
an entirely different animal. I mean, there's when you got that kind of money, that's as opposed to the kind of money we're talking. To get it initiated and started, well, if Mary, Perrin would be willing to take that on as part of her current duties in lieu of not doing the Stellar, just to get it initiated. If we get the grant, then, you can always switch gears to see about hiring somebody to do that. I mean, I'm assuming it would be simply a temporary job then, but,
Right. And I really think it would be good to, to make something happen as quick as possible. One of the things reason we selected that one to work on is there was already existing services that we could work with. It wasn't starting from scratch.
Well, you could have Mary do that, but Mary's already working every day at the highway department. I mean, we have employees that are staying home right now that could also take this on.
Is one of them interested in volunteering? I hate to say, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, we pick you and you come to work today. You know what I mean?
Well, they're getting, I mean, all the employees that are staying home and on call, they're getting paid. So
Yeah, I know. I know.
I don't know
but-
if there was one that would be interested in doing that. I don't know if you could ask or find out.
I know the clerk's office is willing to help do something.
Oh, okay. Well, I like that idea. There we got somebody volunteering right there.
Yeah.
And through, this is Jackie Ryan from the Leader, but through the poll, we were able to get a list of, I don't know how many, but I think over 70 people who were willing to help with COVID-19 response. That was one of the things that they answered positively to. So I don't know how many of them, like looking at it, I can't tell who's a county employee or not, but we have that list of people who are willing, more than willing to help, as long as we can give them some direction. So that's just so you guys know that too.
Well, if Bernadette's got somebody in mind that she thinks is capable of handling that and getting that off the ground and going, I guess in coordinating the services, basically what I hear you saying is that we're going to use existing transportation services, which include the schools and Council on Aging, to do the deliveries, and it would simply be like taking orders of, if in particular for meals or something, and then if they're going to be hot meals, you're going to have something to put them in. Or
Are we
you know what I'm
collaborating with
saying?
like local restaurants or something when we're talking about doing this?
Yes.
And food banks.
So between food banks for actual food deliveries, for rations, and then individual meals, we're talking about doing like with restaurants or anything like that. There shouldn't be any reason why we wouldn't be able to get some type of volunteer list as far as people willing to deliver.
And I'm gonna take a,
Well, I think that the thought was to use the existing services. We just have to have, well, I don't know. See, there's some, yeah.
Got a few different angles you can go at it with as far as
Yeah,
like
yeah.
families or anything like that. But if we're talking about like I said, with the Meals on Wheels or anything, volunteer service as far as individuals that know their community, that's where we need to hit.
Well, how about this? If the clerk's office is willing to volunteer to do that stuff, and Frank has some particular needs because he got the patients. Why don't a couple of them collaborate?
Not a big need on my end.
What?
Not a big need on my end as of yet. I have one individual that's isolating and then another individual that's still hospitalized that I'm aware of. Other than that, everybody else has come off with their isolation.
Oh, okay.
But as far as
The
people
reason I
just not
brought
being
that
able
up
to
is
get
because
out,
you told me you had that. So, all right, okay. Well, I don't know what the answer is here.
if it were to
I'd
ramp
like
up to where I've got people that are isolated and they're unable to go out and get groceries, I've already gone out and got groceries for one guy and have offered on a couple others. But like I said, if it were to ramp up, the numbers ramp up, then that would be the need here. But like I said, if we're talking Meals on Wheels or anything, then I think we need to be talking to Council on Aging, Community Services,
Churches.
as far as what they've got, where they're seeing a need, what have you. But as far as delivering any of those meals, I don't think that's going to be as much of the issue as far as, having to use the schools or.
Well, how about this? Why don't we give Marty and the clerk's office and Frank a couple of days to the delivery plan or a concept, a model concept on how this is going to transpire and come down. We can adjourn the meeting rather than cancel it, and then we can reconvene when they've got that information and we can make a decision. Because right now, in some ways, I feel like we're just shooting in the dark.
We need to talk to somebody
And I
as far
wanted
as what a Meals on Wheels service looks like, and then as far as any type of community need in regards to the grocery delivery thing.
Yeah. And how would you identify those people? Because the worst thing in the world would be for us to commit the money and commit the service, and then it just sit idle because we don't have a plan to identify who needs what and how to get it to them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and the biggest thing is you want something that's going to get put into place that's actually going to be able to be used beyond COVID-19.
Right.
That's definitely one of the things we'd like to achieve here too, because it Meals on Wheels is obviously a long-term need, not just during this period. So it's something that I think, formerly existed and has stayed, is not currently available, correct?
Correct. I believe that's correct. And I've had, during my time as commissioner at various meetings and et cetera, I've heard that complaint from the elderly in particular that, there's no meal service. Now, I don't know how many people in Stark County are going hungry, but I'm sure there's many.
Another thing that an idea just to throw out there is if you're planning on going grocery shopping for those who need, you do have the conference card. So if an existing employee, like say from the clerk's office, they can use the conference card to deliver groceries to, the elderly.
I like that idea too, because that's one of the big problems in Stark County. Why folks, especially the older folks right now, they don't want to have to go to the grocery store. They're not able to go to the grocery store. If there was a meat or grocery delivery service or a pickup or whatever, that'd be, like they've got it, all the grocery stores in Plymouth. Kroger's got it, Martin's has it, Walmart has it, but we don't have that service available for people. So,
Well, and again, I'll go back to community services with them being not shut down, but they've drastically reduced what they're able to provide for people in regards to going and picking them up and taking them to appointments or taking them to the grocery store. They've gone from the 7 drivers down to 3. So,
well, and that would,
there's obviously going to be a
get
need.
somebody back off the unemployment rolls then too. But I really think rather than spending a lot of time in a commissioner meeting trying to iron out the details and everything, I think we need to do just what I suggested. We'll adjourn the meeting instead of dismissing it or adjourning it. We'll
put it into recess.
Yeah, put it in recess. What I say, I always get that confused. But
don't adjourn.
Don't adjourn. Just recess the meeting and then let somebody come up with a definitive plan rather than us trying to hash out what that plan might look like. Because I just don't think that's going to work in the amount of time that we've got to sit here and talk about it.
Right.
That's my thought on the matter.
Well, we're
But
likely
yes,
to
I'd
know
like to pursue
more.
it.
We're likely to know more about what's happening on on the Okra and on the Lilly situation really soon, I think too, which will help because it make a lot of difference in the amount of funding available. But if you're willing to make, sort of seed this project with the funds that you already have, then that would mean we could actually move instead of just waiting for something to happen.
Well,
that would be, I'm okay with that. And I think, like I say, a few days that we take now to try to, shore up something specific in the plan isn't gonna be out of line. I don't think so.
we have a van available at the highway department that we will not be using during social distancing, so that could be used for this too.
Oh, that's cool.
All right. So I guess, does anyone have anything else you'd like to talk about now?
Well, then I'll make that, can we make that as a motion, Charlie?
Yeah.
Where,
recess it. Or,
where we have whoever. I think Marty needs to be involved in that a little bit. I mean, the clerk's office and Rachel and Frank and sounds like Rick's got a few ideas too, and let them come up with, give them 2 days to come up with a plan, and we can recess until Wednesday at 9 o'clock. And I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think that'd be good. Give them a couple days to just figure it out and come up with a plan. So.
Well, that's my motion then.
Do you have a time to reschedule for? I mean, you probably need
9
to
o'clock Wednesday.
9 o'clock Wednesday. Okay, great.
Brian, you second that?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Just so you all know, I have an election board meeting Wednesday at 9:30. So the first half hour I'll be available. After that, I gotta go to the election board meeting.
Well, that would probably most likely be the only topic of discussion for us
Yeah.
on
Okay.
Wednesday, because
So I'm sure we'll
unless
get through
something
that in
comes
an
up
hour.
between now and then.
Okay.
Well, unless something comes up between now and then, but we can make sure that this goes first. And you
Bernadette,
know what?
Bernadette, are you planning on using the county Zoom for your election board meeting? Because we can't have two at once.
We can't have, it will probably have to be, yes, because I have to offer it to the county chairs and neither one are willing to come in, so.
So you will either have to, so we'll have to.
I don't care. We can do it 8:30 in the morning then.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
that's the answer, probably.
So we have to,
I just won't turn on my video camera because I won't be out of the shower by then. That's a good thing about these things. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to.
So we're meeting at Wednesday at 8:30?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it 8:30. Is that okay with you, Brian?
Fine.
Okay,
If
so
you could figure out the video camera on your phone, Brian, you could go to the meeting in your PJs like me.
We can listen to ding, ding, ding the whole time.
Yeah, there you go.
I have a question.
Who is it?
Mandy,
Oh, okay.
yeah, Mandy.
is there any chance of us getting our searchers in here by appointment? The real estate market has been deemed essential, and so we are kind of doing their job. We are also a public record, so we have to. Is there any way to get them in here by appointment, maybe one day a week or for an hour? Anything?
Well, how much of your time is it taking up?
Well, between mine and Rachel's office, it's a pretty good amount of time. Rachel and I are working probably 3 to 4 hours a day on them. My Rachel, the auditor's office is only doing it when Suzanne's in.
If you do consider this, my only suggestion is that they would need to wear face masks because they do go to other counties. They're not all from Stark County. So if they're going to come into our building, then I would prefer that they have some kind of protection on.
Yeah, if you look at a map, we're like almost surrounded now by places where it's a lot more prevalent than it is here,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Well, I don't mean to be rude, but other than that, are you doing a lot of recording? I mean, is it really an imposition to do it in the short term? I don't mean, I'm just asking. I'm not trying to be.
No, I mean, it does take a lot of our time. However, it puts us at a liability because if we don't get them the right deeds or we don't follow the right trail for them, it puts us in that predicament where we're not getting them the right proper.
Bernadette, you're also included this includes your office. I mean, do you have any comments on that?
We haven't allowed any searchers in, but I will not do any searches. It's up for the searchers to come in to do it because like Mandy had mentioned, the liability part, I won't put my office in that situation to be liable for somebody else's work. So we are not doing searches right now. And we haven't even had anybody call wanting to come in to do any searches yet. I guess Mandy's ahead of me on that because she's had people wanting to come in to search, I guess, or she's having to do it. We haven't done any of it in my office. If it was up to me, I would allow her to, allow one person in at a time to search for a few hours if she needs that, but I don't know. I wouldn't do it in my office.
I had to go pee. And I got water all over my shirt because the bathroom water in there, its water pressure is like 100.
sorry. I guess I'd like to think about this for 2 days. And we can add that to the recessed agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I wonder if you can look at what's going on in other counties, especially like rural counties in this regard, what other places are doing. It's always interesting to know what other places are.
They're
doing to
about
handle-
half and half, Marty.
Yeah,
Are they?
they're about 50-50.
Some of them are allowing somebody in with face masks. Is that how they're doing it, or?
They're allowing them by appointment. Nobody's really said if they're making them wear face masks or. I guess it just depends on each office on that one, and that's fine. I have 2 searchers, which it doesn't seem like a lot, but our one searcher, she only does Stark County. She does a little in LaPorte, but she's basically Stark County, and she's the one that we're doing most of our stuff for. And she's had title companies tell her that they won't accept the work because she's not actually getting it. And like I said, that puts us at a liability because we're trying to follow that path for her.
Well, just for the record, I don't know if that puts you at a liability. I don't want to have that on our recording here that we accept that. I don't accept that. I think the person that signs the the title search is the person who's responsible, and it's up to them to decide whether they have to do it themselves or they can rely on you. Just for the record, I mean, I'm not, you know what I'm saying. I appreciate your being uncomfortable with it, and it certainly is not your normal job function, right? But we're not going to admit that we're liable for them deciding to do that.
I agree with that, Marty.
Mhm.
And I'd go so far as to say that's probably the commissioner's official opinion on that too.
Yeah.
Charlie, I heard Charlie agree with that. Do you agree too, Brian?
I agree.
Well, I think we can, because like I say, I want to think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't mind, I'll make a motion to consider that on Wednesday when we reconvene to discuss the $41,000 we've got to spend.
A second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Does anyone have anything else?
Is county IT on here still? Seen Richard earlier, is he still here?
Yes, I'm here.
We need to talk about fire, which is an internet security that the Secretary of State is mandating levels that we can do. It's free of charge to the, so it's not going to cost the county anything. It's just more headaches for the IT department. Put this in place for elections, but she also opened it up. She, as in Secretary of State, opened it up for your county. So not only does the clerk's office get this, but the auditor's office can use it and the jail can use it. And I'm not real IT-ish when it comes. All I know is it's security. If Richard would elaborate a little bit about what all it's going to do, and in return, it can save the county some money because we're paying a business we're paying for protection now where the Secretary's Fire Eye plan can be put in place of what we're paying for, and we don't have to pay for it. She's supplying it to the counties.
Yeah.
Richard, can you go in a little more detail?
FireEye is a form of antivirus software that we can put in place of our current antivirus software that we are currently paying for. The state is offering to fund a program for all election boards, and they're willing to cover all the counties and the entire entity of those counties too. So we can take advantage of their software, and we would be able to save money on our software.
And I believe when me and Richard had talked about this before, FireEye is just as good of a virus protection as what we have now. So we won't be stepping down any. It will be staying the same. It just won't cost the county anything. The Secretary of State has funded this for 3 years. Is that right, Richard? Is it 2 or 3 years?
I believe 3 years, and then after 3 years, they're going to revisit additional funding if they want to continue with the program.
Yeah, so it'd be at least 3 years where the county wouldn't have to pay for the antivirus software. And I don't know what we're paying for it now. I'm sure it's a substantial amount, but the contract I can send off to all the commissioners as well as you, Marty. So you guys have a chance to look over this, but this is something that we need to start talking about. We don't have to make a decision today. I just wanted to mention it and put a bug in everybody's ears to start thinking about this.
I hope we can get this adopted relatively soon, and we can hopefully proceed with this because our current antivirus is up as far as June this year, and we renew that every 3 years also. So if it can save us from having to renew our new one, then we can go that route.
So this would replace for every department, including the courts?
Correct. They're willing to cover all the departments.
And this is not going to interfere with the courts?
No.
Odyssey or any of that business?
No.
It works with Odyssey. The clerk's office also uses Odyssey.
Well, if it's free for 2 or 3 years, gosh, and there's no reduction in coverage, heck, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Yep, so am I.
So can we,
Okay, I will see you
can you
guys.
get all the information? I'd like to know if you can get all of the information on that and send it to us and to Marty. And I'd like you to send it to the judge as well.
The information
Is it going to include the sheriff? Is it going to include the sheriff?
It's going to include everybody, but it's just going to take place of what we currently have in place. So nothing's going to
Well,
change
I'd
as
like
far
you to
as
send it to the
security-wise,
judge.
just the software.
This is what I want you to, what I'd like to see done. Charlie and Brian can jump in anytime. I'd like to see something about it, something in writing that I can read, something tangible. And first of all, and I want Marty to see it, and I want the judge to see it at a minimum, the 3 commissioners and Rachel, and put it on our next agenda, which will be May 4th, I think, which is plenty of time, I believe, since you said it sometime in June that we've got to redo the other one, right?
Correct.
Okay, can we do that? What do you guys think, Brian and
I think we'll
Brian and
go.
Charlie? What do you think?
I think that's the route we need to go. So look at what we get and discuss it at the next meeting.
I agree with.
Okay, well then I'll make that as a motion, and
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
I
No one else has anything. I guess we can recess this till Wednesday at
Wednesday at
8:30.
8:30. Yeah, perfect.
Is that a motion then?
I'll make that as a motion.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks,
Thanks.
everyone.
I'll talk to you later. Bye. Thanks.